Hey movie fans, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We are now just a little bit closer to Star Wars The Force Awakens, and so, naturally I've been reviewing every Star Wars movie leading up to The Force Awakens, and now we are finally at the original trilogy. So today, we're going to be taking a look at Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, or as some people just know it, Star Wars. Now, this is probably my favorite out of all 6 of the Star Wars movies, and probably the one that I've seen the most because it's just the classic. Star Wars, I think, in and of itself is the only movie that I can definitively say that every scene is iconic. Like, every single line, almost, more or less, give or take a couple, is kind of quoted in the mainstream popular culture. It's a very well-known and well-loved movie, and for good reason. This is a fantastic movie. This is the one that started so many trends in not just Star Wars, but in the movie business. This is the major one that started it all. So, let's first take a look at the characters, because those are absolutely iconic in every sense of the word. First, you got the whiny little brat known as Luke Skywalker. Now, don't yell at me in the comments section, but yes, Luke starts off to be a little bit of a whiny little brat at the beginning of Episode 4. I want to go to Tashi Station and pick up some power converters. You can waste time with your friends later. See, Luke wasn't that great of a guy at first. He was really obnoxious, but that's why he has a great arc. Every good character needs to have some form of an arc, and Luke undergoes a fantastic arc. More or less, this is bolstered by when he meets the droids, C-3PO and R2-D2. Who are in and of themselves, one of them, like glue, the unsung glue. If glue could sing, I would listen apparently, because it's unsung. But C-3PO and R2-D2 are like the unsung heroes of the Star Wars universe, because without them, there is no Star Wars. There is no Death Star plans that falls into the rebel hands. There's no Star Wars story to begin with without C-3PO and R2-D2. And that's probably why they're all in all 6 movies, and probably will be in all the ones going forward, but who knows, maybe R2 dies in Episode 7. C-3PO and R2-D2 are trying to get the plans to Obi Wan Kenobi, but it's more or less intercepted by Luke, kind of, and then Luke meets up with the droids, and they meet up with Obi Wan as they're trying to rescue Princess Leia. Now those 2 characters are absolutely fantastic. Obi Wan Kenobi, Princess Leia. Also, 2 very iconic characters. Princess Leia's okay, she's serviceable in the first movie. She gets a lot more development, I notice as I rewatch them, in the later movies. Not so much in the first one, she's just kind of there. But she does have her moments. She ends up saving a guy just as much as the guy saved her. She's just as good of a shot. She takes out a stormtrooper when Luke is trying to lasso their way across a gorge. But she's good. She gets more development in Empire Strikes Back as she starts to fall in love with Han Solo, and she gets more development, even more so, in Return of the Jedi. Obi-Wan, interesting little tidbit. Alec Guinness really hated working on Star Wars, yet he kept coming back. He just didn't get it, as he's been quoted to say a lot. I liked Obi-Wan. He's your stereotypical mentor figure. It's weird to say, but I like Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan more. And that's probably just because I grew up with that Obi-Wan. Plus, I could tell Ewan McGregor has an actual enthusiasm for it, and he's still young enough to be able to perform stuff instead of just being an old man hobbling around giving sage advice. And then you got probably the most iconic hero in Star Wars, Han Solo. Harrison Ford just kills it in this role, and that's more or less what's given me the most hope when it comes to Force Awakens, is Harrison Ford. For years now, Harrison Ford has been just like that, exactly like that. But with movies like Cowboys vs. Aliens, can you really blame him for being angry? But he's got this weird enthusiasm and zest for life again with being in Force Awakens, so I don't know if this spells certainty for his character in Force Awakens, or if he just has this renewed sense of joy in the franchise again. Either way, it's nice to have Han Solo back because you identify Han Solo with Star Wars. It's just great. This movie has fantastic special effects. They still really hold up today because, as George Lucas kind of forgot as he made more Star Wars movies, but these relied on practical effects, the actual models, actual sets, like little miniatures that they blow up, or the Death Star run was hand-built stuff mixed with some other techniques. It's great. Great story, great special effects, and of course, great villain. Every good movie worth its salt is only as good as its villain, and Vader stands the test of time in popular culture. People will always debate about who the greatest movie villain of all time is, but for me, it'll always be Darth Vader. There's no one more iconic, more menacing. Yes, the prequels did a lot to damage Vader's credibility and, I don't know, aura, I guess you'd say. But to me, Darth Vader is still the quintessential movie villain, and he is fantastic. Now, to me, the Obi Wan Darth Vader fight with the lightsabers doesn't particularly hold up well as a fight. But as characters, they're very interesting, and that's a scene that I've come to grow to appreciate more as I get older. This is more of a symbolic fight than it is a physical fight, which was kind of nice to see. The original trilogy actually had more of symbolic fights than they did actual fights. The prequels have very well choreographed fights, leaping action and whatever else. Well, that's because you had Ray Park and Phantom Menace, but the original movies, they were limited by the technology that they could do, but they found ways to make it work. And they did that by having compelling characters in those fights. You cared about the characters. Prequels, you didn't care so much about the characters, so they had to have good action. This, they had great characters that you cared about with not as much action. So it made it more of a symbolic thing, like when Luke fights Vader in Return of the Jedi. That's probably my favorite fight. Not for the intensity in it, but for the emotional intensity. There's a lot at stake in that fight. It's a great fight overall. It's not the most choreographed. Luke is just awful when he swings the lightsaber at Vader. But overall, it's a great fight. Star Wars A New Hope, I will give it a 10 out of 10. And that's incredibly rare for me. I never give 10s out of 10s, but come on. It's Star Wars. No movie is absolutely perfect, and Star Wars is no exception. You mean to tell me that there's a little hole that if you shoot into that, the whole Death Star blows up? But I mean, everyone harps on that. There's other details that we could harp on for later days, but overall, this movie is perfect. If you call yourself a film fan, you need to have seen this at least 25 times in your lifetime, or 25 times since they announced Episode 7 was coming out. But this movie, it's just all around wonderful. There's a reason that this caused the Star Wars craze, and it bled out of the Star Wars universe into other film cultures. It's forever changed film, and for good reason. So what did you guys think about Star Wars A New Hope? Do you like it? Do you not? And if so, are you crazy for not liking Episode 4? I will find you. But let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you're seeing and you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Or find me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at 17 Movie Reviews. Stay sharp, movie guys and gals, and may the Force be with you.